Hey guys, Team Hopper here. Our members are Donovan, Sarah, Barnaby, and myself, Raslan. In this video, we are going to showcase our current progress of our scheduling application for class CMPT395. First, let me start with the color schematics and logo design. After a long research on many types of colors and combinations, we decided to choose the green and white for our final theme. According to our research, we found that most people associate green with nature, growth, harmony, wealth, and stability, which happen to be some of the key elements for a successful business. Now, moving into our logo, we chose a very simplistic yet efficient design. This logo gives our application a very professional look, and at the same time it generates a very relaxing feeling. Next, let's start exploring our application. As you guys can see from the very get-go, you get this very relaxing and simplistic feeling. And that's what our application is all about, simplicity. As you guys can see on the screen, we only have 3 buttons, each button with a unique function. The print schedule button is going to print the schedule for the entire month. The employee list is going to allow the user to view the entire list of the employees and make changes to the employee list, such as adding new employees, removing employees, changing the training status, and also changing the availability of the employees. And finally, we have the calendar button. The calendar button is going to open the calendar UI, which is used for adding the employees to the schedule. Alright, let's first start with the employee list. As you can see, initially the database is going to be empty. So first we actually have to add employees to the list. Okay, so after clicking the yellow button, it will take you to this nice interface for adding all the information for a new employee. Alright, so let's add our first employee. First name Robert, last name, just keep it simple. Email, just we generate any email. gmail.com. For the phone number, we just generate any phone number, doesn't matter, just for simplicity. For the date to join, same, any date right now. Like right now, we don't really care about like the information per se, just want to demonstrate functionality. Also for wage, just $13 an hour, any number it's fine. For training and opening, for opening and closing also, any values are fine. So we are going to edit like all the values later on anyways. So now we can actually see Robert on the roster. We go back home, we go to the employee list again, and we can see that in fact he has been added to the list of employees. Okay, so now we actually click on Robert, and now we can see all his personal information, going from his wage, if he's trained, phone number, email, and so on. On the bottom part of the screen, we can actually see the availability, like which hours he can work. So if we actually click it, it will show us like the actual slots. So let's change the morning and the afternoon for Monday to Friday, and let's also add like the weekends. Okay, let's click save. Now if we actually click back on Robert, so now we can actually see on the bottom of the screen that his availability has changed to whatever we made it. So let's actually change it again. Let's remove some of the days from the afternoon. Let's remove one of the days of the weekend, Sunday, and let's save these changes. Okay, let's click on Robert again. Okay, so we can see here that all the changes have been made. Alright, next let's try to test to edit and remove employees. So we go back to the employee list. Let's try to add a new employee. We are going to add Juan. Last name Morales. And once again, we are just going to input any data just to fill the areas. I would also like to mention that like in case you actually miss any of the fields, okay, let's actually finish his email first. Yeah, just whatever. Yeah, in case you miss any of these fields and try to add the employee into the database, the actual program, the application won't let you. It will actually display this message. Please enter all the data. So before actually successfully entering any employee to the database, all the fields have to be properly filled. Okay, so now we go back, we finish writing all the information, which is like the date to join, the wage, which is going to be 13 bucks an hour, the training, it's either for opening or closing, and finally add. And since we all have all the fields, it's actually going to let us add the name into the employee list. Now we can actually see it. Juan Morales, it's actually inside the. And now let's actually try to edit some of the information from the employees. So let's select Juan Morales from his information. We click it. Now we go back to this interface and we actually can make any changes we desire. So let's change his phone number to all sevens. Let's change his email, perhaps not. What else? Let's hit wage to 15 bucks an hour. And now we can also change with his training. So now he's also trained for closing. And now we just click OK. So all the changes have been made. To double check them, we click on Morales, and we can actually see on the screen that all the changes have been made. His wage has been changed, his phone number have been changed. So let's go back home, employee list again. So now we can see one more time that all the changes have been in fact made. Okay, we go back to Robert. We can see that all the changes persist. And basically at this point we have demonstrated how to edit both employee information and availability. Alright, so what happens next? So we do not believe that we should keep employees that have been fired or that have moved on inside the scheduling application. I think the company should keep another database for ex-employees to avoid confusion. So that's why we actually added the remove button and the confirmation. So every time we desire to remove an employee, we can just remove it. And with this, we conclude the section about the database demonstration. Now we will move into the calendar UI and how to add employees into this. Now, before actually moving into the calendar UI, I'm going to pause the video for a while because I do have to add all the employees to show the functionality, because adding each employee at a time takes time. So I'll be right back after adding 8 to 9 employees. Alright, I'm back. So now I actually added all the employees, 1 to 9. So now we have enough employees to actually go and check the calendar UI. So now we go into the calendar UI, right? So once you click the button for the calendar UI, the first thing you're going to see is a calendar, obviously, in which you actually go to the previous months and go to the months ahead. Okay, so let's go back to December. In the calendar view, right now we can see a bunch of X's. The X's represents an empty schedule. Alright, so how do we fix this X? By clicking any of the days. Once you click any of the days, you are going to have this pop-up menu open, where on the top you have busy or non-busy days. You can select the busy or non-busy day. In the first spinner, you can select the shift. In the second spinner, you have the actual employee list. And also it is important to notice the employee list is already filtered. You can only select employees that can open. If the list is empty, if the schedule is empty, you can only select employees that can open. So please notice that Santos is not in the list right now, although he can work in the morning. So once we add this guy, we select, and then we can actually select Santos from the list, right? Because once you actually add one employee that can open, for the second from the second part, you can add any of the employees, regardless if they have training for opening or closing. All right, so we added the second employee, but what happens? We still have the warning sign, right? But what happened here is from Monday to Friday, there's actually 2 shifts, the morning and afternoon shift. So to fix it, we go back to this window and we actually have to change it to the afternoon shift first, and we have to add employees to the afternoon shift. And same as the morning shift, we can only select employees that can close right now. And once we select an employee that can close, for the second option, we can actually select any of the employees that are available to work on that day shift. So now we can select any of the employees. So let's select, I don't know, Pablo. Perhaps he needs the money. And now we actually have to click on the add button, add, and done. Alright, so what happened here? We actually added like we completed like one schedule day successfully. Alright, so let's go back to that schedule again and let's change this day to busy. So if we actually change it from regular to busy day, we are going to add one more slot for each shift. So for the morning and afternoon shift, we are going to be adding one more slot, which is like 2 more overall. And if we actually click done, oh, what happened here? There's going to be a warning sign, of course, because we now, with our busy days, now we need 2 more employees. So to fix it, we go back here and we select an employee here. We also have to select an employee for the afternoon shift. We go add, we go down, and ready. The day has been completed successfully for the busy day. Okay, so let's click this day again. Alright, so like what happens if you actually change your mind, right? Like let's say you want to change your mind and going from busy to non-busy. What happens here is actually one of the employees gets removed automatically. By the way, this is not randomly. Like the application is going to check if one of the employees can, if at least one of the employees can open or close, depending on the shift, and then it's going to remove one of the other employees accordingly. But it always ensures that at least one employee has like the training for opening or closing, depending on the time slot. And also it is important to notice that the employee is also going to be removed from the afternoon shift, so it keeps consistent. So like in here we can see that the afternoon shift also has been, like the employee from the afternoon shift has also been removed. So now if we actually click done, the status should change to ready or complete. And in fact we actually see that like the status has been completed to ready. So now like we're almost like ready, like showcasing the calendar UI. I think I just forgot to show the delete. So let's open another day. Let's open Tuesday. Let's add like one employee here. Let's Cristiano Santos here. Okay, let's change this to the afternoon shift. Add like 2 employees for the afternoon shift and then click done. Alright, so now we completed another day. Let's go back here and just remove these 2 guys here. Change this to the afternoon shift, remove these 2 guys here, and then just save the status. And once again we have the X mark, which means incomplete, which actually means empty shift. I'm sorry. Alright, so with this we are done with demonstrating the calendar UI and also the database UI. Now all we have left is to show the functionality of the PDF. Alright, but like to actually show the functionality of the PDF, I actually have to generate some of the values. So I'm just going to add like random people here. For the weekend, by the way, we only have like 2 shifts. I mean two slots, 1 shift, one full day shift, sorry. So yeah, right now I'll just like add values just to demonstrate like the printing capabilities. Alright, let's add one more. Actually, let's make it busy. Okay, that should be enough. Alright, so now we actually go to the PDF generator. Oh, like before I actually go into the print schedule button, I also want to emphasize like the home button. Like it doesn't matter where you are in the application, you're always only like 1 click away on going back to the home screen. Alright, so let's go to the print schedule button right now. And the first thing you're going to see is going to prompt you for like a year, month, a day. So let's do that first. Year 2021. For the month we want 12, which is like December. And for the day, honestly for the day it doesn't really matter. Right now how it works, it's going to print like the schedule for the entire month, depending on the year. So the day right now is just for like future applications. Alright, so now we have selected the date, and now we go into the generate PDF. and we actually can see a successful message. The PDF has been successfully generated. Alright, so like how do we actually check if the PDF has been generated? Well, for this to happen, we actually have to exit the application. We have to go into the actual Android folder inside the phone. We go for data, example, files, storage, and then we click the calendar. We select the calendar PDF, and then we go here. We select the printing option, and let me zoom in. And now we can actually see all the days being printed for December, for the month of December 2021. Now, that being said, we are still working on the formatting, right, to have the like standard Sunday to Saturday format. But for now, once again, we just wanted to show functionality that we actually can print like the PDF file, although the format is not like 100% correct. But you can see all the days, what's the important part, and then you can also see the employees for that day, which are scheduled to work for that day. Thank you everyone for watching our presentation. I really hope you guys enjoyed it, and I wish you all the best for the holidays and the new year.